This is serious. Agency nurses, agency staff, agency CNAs are taking over healthcare. Now, I'm an LPN, licensed practical nurse, right under RN. I work in long-term care facilities, nursing homes, and I'm an agency nurse, meaning I am an independent contractor. I do not have an employee. I independently go out and pick up these facilities, and then I work for an agency that basically is just a liaison, but I am not their actual employee, right? I'm a contractor. So that's what I do. That's who I am. I am your fave nurse B. Like, comment, and subscribe. Now, you all, let me paint this landscape for you all. Preface this, I can only talk about what I know as far as being an LPN and long-term care agency nurse and what I've seen. Hospitals do have agency staff as well as travel nursing, which is big too. So we might as well put them into the clump of agency staff, meaning that they are independent contractors. They do not work for that particular facility. Although they may do a contract to work at that facility for a certain amount of time, they still are not considered employees of that facility. So we might as well just lump them in there. But I cannot talk specifically about that because I work in long-term care. It's totally different in the hospital, but it's pretty much the same thing. They don't work for these folks, okay? So here's the thing. Even before everything happened in the world, there was a shortage of nurses. We always hear there's a nursing shortage, there's nursing shortage, there's a nursing shortage. This is also the same with patient care techs and CNAs. People, it's a very high turnover for healthcare workers. It's a lot of burnout experience there. It's just a lot of work working in healthcare, working with people, and on top of that, sick people. So that's a whole nother thing. Now, with everything happening, it's become even worse, okay? So you have nurses and CNAs. I'm gonna say nurses, but we know that you can also throw CNAs in there too, because they are basically there with us doing the same work. Not the same work, but you know what I'm saying, as far as like, they are here going to agency too. They're moving just right along with the nurses. So anyhow, you have some nurses who just say, I'm done with it. I don't want to work in healthcare anymore. I've been trying to get out of healthcare for the past 5 years. That's all I needed to happen. Bye. That's really how a lot of people, from what I've heard and seen, have basically got to the point of being right now. So that right there creates a shortage. On top of that, you have some nurses and CNAs who their job has required them to get the jab. They are like, I'm not doing that, so I'm going to go ahead and exit stage left. That leads some people to going into agency nursing, because from what I've seen, most agencies, the places that I've looked at, and I've seen at least 3 or 4 agencies, which may not sound like a lot, but in my area it's a decent amount. But anyhow, they do not require you to get it. It's based off of that facility. If that facility requires you to have it, then yeah, go ahead and have it. The same even with the flu vaccine. If the agency itself will not require you to get it, but if that facility that you're going into requires you to have it, you need to have it before you go pick up a shift. So you see what I'm saying? So anyhow, that's another reason why people are leaving regular staff jobs. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, regular staff jobs means you work at a facility, you get paid from that facility, and you are under the rules of that facility because you're their employee. Anyhow, so that's the second reason. Another reason why people are leaving is because this is the biggest thing. This is the biggest reason why I see nurses and CNAs leaving in droves from regular jobs. And I feel like facilities should have saw this coming, and they just haven't done anything to do about it. Like anything to prevent it or to stop it from happening. Basically, paint the picture. Me and you are doing the same exact job at this job, right? We're taking doctor's orders, we're taking care of patients, giving medications, yada, 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 yada. I'm looking at you. I'm doing my work. I'm the staff nurse. You come in as the agency nurse. Great to have you here. We're short-staffed. Thank you. But wait, I make $25 an hour, and this agency nurse who's coming in first day here is making 30, 35, 40 plus an hour, and I'm over here making $25 an hour, over here slaving basically. I don't take that lightly. Like, they be working, okay? They work, these nurses, because you have to remember they're short staffed to begin with, right? But then you see somebody else coming in making $10, $5 more, $10 more, $20 more than you. On top of that, that nurse or CNA could be making their money as soon as they clock out, they get paid. The next day they get paid. That same week they get paid. And guess what? If they don't like working there for that shift that they worked, they don't ever have to come back. They can come in, fill the spot, be a warm body, and keep it pushing. You be like, the A didn't do this, the nurse didn't do that. They're still going to get paid for their shift. But me, as a regular staff nurse, not only have I been working short, 60 patients, no med tech, 2 CNAs, and I'm getting paid $25 an hour. But on top of that, every time a new agency nurse or agency CNA comes in, I have to explain everything to this person. They're constantly coming to me, asking me, where is this? Who is this? How I do this? Da, da, da. Do you know what the doctor number is? I have to basically be orientation for everybody, the orientee for everybody, right? The orienter, I should say, for everybody. Is that the word? For everyone, on top of doing my job. And there's other things that go on in a nursing home that are not just day-to-day stuff. There's some stuff that, you know, they live there. So you got doctor's appointments, transportation, any type of consults. If psych comes in the building, psych's going to come to you and ask you like, hey, what's been going on with the patient, yada, yada, yada. There's other things, even like clerical work that needs to be done just for your unit. You know, you might have monthly summaries or monthly vitals, monthly weights that are due. That's not just your day-to-day, let me click and see what I have to do today. It's stuff that just needs to happen to maintain the floor so it's working orderly. Getting certain paperwork that you have to get back on the floor. Stocking up certain things on the floor. Things like that that have to happen in order for things to work properly. The agency staff, they may or may not do that. They might not even know, because you have to think about it. If an agency nurse or agency CNA is coming in, what should I focus on? Should I focus on making sure your med room is stocked? Or should I focus on making sure that all these people that I'm taking care of, everything that they have to do for them doesn't turn red, right? Meaning that I'm overdue trying to do it. If I'm coming in first time here and I have 50 patients, my focus is going to be on what I have to do before the end of my shift, right? I don't care about any ancillary things that need to be done over here. Like, I need to focus on what's on this computer that I'm 110% responsible for on this computer, right? That's my focus. If a CNA keeps coming up to, you know, there's no regular nurse on the staff, the CNA is like, this person keeps slumping over in this chair, this person keeps slumping over in the chair. Okay, I'm gonna try my best to help out and be like, let's get a PT consult, but my focus is going to be on that computer. This is why you have regular staff there to be like, I've been noticing the same issue with this patient. Let me go ahead and get PT to look at them. Maybe we can reevaluate how they're in this chair. It's probably going to be OT actually. But anyhow, reevaluate some things for the patient. As an agency nurse, I'm not saying that I won't do it, but calling a doctor to get an order for something like that is not going to be my top priority when I have a patient who has IV antibiotics and I have someone I have to do trach care for, and I got this G tube that's overdue, and I got this and somebody just fell. My focus is not going to be how this person is sitting in a wheelchair, although it is important. I'm not saying it's not important, but this is the type of things that happen that fall on the regular staff nurse on top of everything that they have to do day by day, right? So that's infuriating. Everything gets piled on them. They're already being asked to come in and work overtime, come in early, leave late. Everything is being piled on top of them. Why isn't this getting done? Why isn't that getting done? And they're like, oh, the agency nurse didn't do this last night, so we need you to do it. Things like that get piled on you. And then on top of that, this person right there doing the same job as you, making more money. And you're doing maybe twice the work. What would you do? How would you feel? Hydrate. How would you feel? Would you be okay continuing to do this job for the next few months? Or would you be like, what agency you coming from? Where you work at? So what's the application process like? How long it take for them to, bro, how much do the shift be? You know, because agency nurses literally have no problem telling you what's up. Like, come on, join the club. Agency CNAs be like, I don't leave the house for such and such money. Without this amount of money, I ain't leaving the house. Like, we agency staff have no issue letting you know what's up, because at the end of the day, you have a license or you have a certification. Come on, join the club. So that is what's happening Nurses are getting fed up. CNAs are getting fed up doing this work beside somebody else, making less money, still having to report to that job, still having to wait 2 weeks to get paid. Okay, they don't want to deal with that, so they're leaving. So that's creating even more of a shortage in these nursing homes, to the point I've been to places where I've worked and there was no regular staff. It was me and 4 or 5 agency CNAs, and that was my first time working there. So I was like, oh child. Like, no one knows who anyone is. When dinner time came, it was a whole problem, because we was like, who was that person? What type of diet do they have? It was just, oh my gosh, it's hectic. It's hectic. Okay, and I work evening shifts most of the time, so there's like nobody there, you know. There's no numbers here for me to call anybody. Like, there's just, it's a mess. It's a hot mess, on top of the fact that nursing homes have always been messy, have always been understaffed, have always been horribly run. It's just a mess. And then on top of that, you throw everything else that's happening on top of it. Agency nurses, agency CNAs are taking over. We're taking over, because I also feel like some people are just realizing, why should I have to wait to get paid? Why should I get paid less? Why should I sit here and be loyal to you when I don't have to be? When I can make the money that I want to make, when I can have the schedule I want to have, when I can get paid practically whenever I feel like getting paid, when I can pick up as many shifts as I want to, when I can decide I don't like this place, I don't want to come back, don't come back. There's so much autonomy. You could work for a full month just back to back to back and have a whole month off and just live your life. You don't have to request for vacation. You don't have to request for PTO. You ain't got to do none of that. Do what you got to do and make it work. And that's pretty much honestly where I talked about this in a separate video. That is the natural trajectory that we're going into, not just healthcare, but in general for most industries. From what I'm seeing is that people are realizing that they need to have more autonomy. They need to be able to work from home and work remotely and things like that, because that fits their lifestyle. That fits them having the lifestyle that they want. And we should all be able to do that, right? Like, this is just me going on a tangent, child, but we all come into the world with our own natural talents. And so why would we just keep going to a job that does not foster those natural talents just to get a paycheck, right? We just bartering our time for money, and people are realizing, like, that's not how I should go. I should be able to use my natural talents to basically live my life, to support my lifestyle, support myself, my family. And that's where things are headed to. And it's no different in healthcare. We all know nurses and CNAs love to get their money. I know people don't want to hear, oh, what's good for your heart? Okay, you volunteer, I'm gonna go ahead and get paid. Anyhow, we all know that. So why not put ourselves in a position where we can make more money and have more autonomy? Now, I'm not saying that it's the best. It's not the best standard of practice. And perhaps if facilities are realizing this is a thing that's happening, then if I was in a nursing facility, I would be like, you know what? I'll just have all contracted employees. You know, you pick up, you do whatever you want to do, but I have to have something in place to make sure that there is like a streamline, like to the point where things that need to get done. But whatever you can do, maybe not just contracted employees, but making it all possible for your employees to have as much flexibility within their schedule as possible, because people are craving that right now. So facilities have to come up with something else. I don't want to wait to pick up an extra shift on top of my 40 hours of being in your facility. I don't want to have to pick up an extra shift just to make more money. You know, you can say, oh, they're doing really good bonuses, that's why I'm not going to go agency. They got some good bonuses, but you're already working 40 hours a week. You have to work 5 days in a row before you can get a bonus? Like, that's crazy. And then if you call off, guess what? That goes away, you know, because you're exhausted the next week and you have to be like, I can't come to work today. All that went for naught, you know, basically. So to me, it's like, yeah, I feel like this is the natural way. I'm not saying that we don't need regular staff. There's places where I go to and they have regular staff, and I love picking up because there is a sense of stability in this facility. People know what they're talking about. I can go to people and ask questions. People know their patients, things like that. And I kind of, even as an agency nurse, I like to have a place within my nursing rotation, okay, if you will, rotation, where I go to that place consistently and I'm like a regular agency nurse. Don't get me wrong, I don't work for y'all, so I don't want to come all the time, because once I start knowing too much, I'm gonna be like, let me go somewhere else, because I don't work here and I don't want y'all to be she knows, she picks up all the time. No, I don't know. Tell me everything I need to know. Tell me everything I need to know. But anyhow, because I get tired of being at the same place, I feel like I'm stuck there, so I like to switch it up a little bit. But anyhow, that's where we're going. Let me know, have you jumped on a nursing agency nurse, agency CNA train? Are you thinking about doing it, or do you like your staff job? Does your job have agency staff? Answer that question. I really want to know. Does your facility have agency staff? If you're interested in learning more about agency nursing, definitely go check out this video. My friend Carl over at ENCP Life, he has a home health agency, and he also teaches you how to like build your own staffing agency. So I'll leave his information link down below. Use my link. I get a little kickback and no extra cost to you. And you can go check out his channel too. Like, he has a great amount of information on his channel. And we even have videos here where we talk about home health care and things like that. How to start your own on this channel. I'll leave all that link down below. But yeah, I love you all. I appreciate you all. I'm going to be having more videos. Put any questions you have down in the comment section. And that's it. Agency nurses, agency CNAs are taking over. So get used to it. And if you got a problem with it, you can fill out an application too, okay? And see what we all, you know, while we here doing this, figure it all out. All right, I love you all. Bye.